Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Ambrosia.
Okay.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen live stream, where today we're going to be making Henry's wonderful and delicious lactose intolerant ambrosia salad. Lactose intolerant ambrosia salad is apparently the #1 most searched for term in the state of Vermont. And just a little bit of background for today's recipe. Today's recipe for ambrosia salad is a bit of a throwback. I finally remember my Nana making ambrosia for pretty much every church function. There are a lot of different variations of ambrosia, and it seems like every grandmother had her own version. I've seen versions of this recipe that use cottage cheese, some that use sour cream or vanilla pudding, some leave on the nuts. But all versions seem to include citrus fruit, coconut, and a creamy, tangy base. Some could argue that this salad is really more of a dessert. And I want to touch on that for a second. The big debate that's going on online is whether or not this is a dessert item or if it's just a regular salad. I mean, there's a lot of grandmothers out there that argue that it's sweet, so therefore it would be a dessert. But I mean, sure, I guess oranges are sweet, but sweet potatoes are sweet too. I don't think that would be called a dessert. Today I'll be using some sweet ingredients. I wasn't able to find cherries, but I found cherry tomatoes, which is similar, but they're not going to be as sweet. And you know, marshmallows are only sweet if you mix them around with something else. So I don't know. I think some of these people that are saying that it's a dessert item are full of shit. My Nana and I never made ambrosia together. We used to make peanut butter cookies though, and she would tell me stories about what it was like being in jail. And that's a whole different thing. But anyway, let's start by, I want to say thanks for joining us here, everybody. And a couple people I noticed just subscribed. Brian W. Foster just subscribed. And Arc Ginger subscribed. And OpCoppel01 gifted subs. And Big Dirty Phil subscribed. So I appreciate all that. And we're going to be doing quite a bit of cooking today. I want to say that this is a great dish to make for a Sunday afternoon. I know some of you are in places like Kyle69, thanks, 420. And this is a great dish for doing on a Sunday afternoon. It's cool and refreshing, so it's a great summer dish. I'm going to say right off the bat, though, it is not easy. This is a very, very difficult dish, and you're going to see in a second how many ingredients there are involved and very many steps. Hey, thanks, Dank Bulbasaurus. But one thing I want to say just general about cooking is sometimes the food that you cook, and excuse my language, but it's going to come out tasting like shit. And if that happens, you need to be ready for it. It's happened to me, and there's no guarantees that what you're doing in the kitchen is going to come out good. And you might even find in the beginning that most of your stuff tastes like shit. And but this one should be pretty safe. All you're really doing is cutting up vegetables. There's not a lot of margin for error. Hey, thanks OCD 00, fellow OCD person there. I have OCD in some situations. Brian W. Foster, thanks. 10 subs to viewers. I still have to learn about some of this chat stuff, but I want to say I appreciate all the interaction here. And we'll be taking questions, and we'll be doing some music and everything. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start by going over our ingredients here. Again, it's supposed to be cherries. I have cherry tomatoes, which I think are going to work just fine. The recipe asks for some kind of multicolored marshmallows. These are just the regular kind, preferably vegan-free if you can find it. I have some almonds. These are honey roasted. I also have a couple of our oranges, some coconut milk. This thing is a pineapple. We're going to try to cut into that. That might be interesting. I've never done that. It looks like the shell around it's pretty hardcore. And I also have some Chobani Greek yogurt as well. But we're going to start by putting some of this shit in the blender. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to blend our milk, coconut, almond, and yogurt, and then we're going to set aside. So let me just clear some of this. And I'm going to be dividing everything by a third here from the recipe, so there's going to be a little bit of math involved. So let's see here. We're going to start by 8 ounces of coconut milk. So, Alexa, how much is 1/3 of 8 ounces of coconut milk?
Here's something I found on the web. 8 tablespoons of coconut milk is 4 fluid ounces. Did that answer your question?
Not really, but okay, so we're going to do 4 ounces. 4 ounces sounds like half to me, but either way, let's just do half a cup of coconut milk, which I have here. Gotta open it up. I think you're supposed to shake it, but I think that's probably okay. All right, and if you're doing this at home, you can make whatever amount that you want. You just have to do the division correctly. So I'm making this for 2 people, even though it's just going to be me and my cat, which doesn't. My cat doesn't eat any of this stuff. As a matter of fact, just to check in on the roast beef cam, my cat roast beef has been a little bit out of it lately, and I think he's a very old cat, and I think he's starting to have feelings of his own sort of mortality starting to creep in. They say that when cats get very old, they start sort of becoming aware of their own sort of limited existence on the planet, and I think it's really bumming him out, so hopefully he'll get a little more happy in a little bit here. But on to more exciting things. So we've got our milk. We're going to take our coconut. What we want is 1 cup shredded coconut. So, Alexa, what's 1/3 of a cup?
0.3333 cups is 5.333 tablespoons.
Okay, 5.3 tablespoons, which is about 1/3 of a cup, which is what I have here. So let's go ahead and put our shredded coconut into there. This is going to come out pretty delicious, I think. Next up, we want almonds. How many almonds do we need here? Oh gosh, I can't find how many freaking almonds we're supposed to have. Okay, we're just going to put a couple of almonds in there. I don't know why I had almonds on the list, but it's not coming up in the recipe, so... Oh, I need a can opener right here. Jeez. I don't know where my can opener is. Oh, there it is. This is supposed to be a pretty badass can opener. I'm just going to guesstimate. If you've been cooking long enough, you start getting sort of an idea of how much of whatever is supposed to go into whatever. Okay, let's put that there. And last thing that we need in our blender is our yogurt, of which we need a half a cup. So let's get a half a cup of yogurt. Wow, I think I bought way too much yogurt here. What the hell? Oh, okay, so I guess this is like there's some kind of fruit thing that's already in the yogurt that I got, and we don't want them putting their fruit in our thing, so I'm going to get rid of that somehow. Ah, jeez. Why do they do that? It just says yogurt. Oh, it says black cherry yogurt. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the black cherries on the top here. Little bit of a crisis there, but we don't want their creativity and their recipe getting them tainting what we're doing with ours. So there we go. That's half a cup of yogurt, and we're just going to go ahead and blend it up. So it doesn't really matter, generally speaking, what setting you use when you blend things. A little bit like riding a bike. If you've got a 10-speed bike, also make sure that you put the top on there. There's a top thing that goes in here, and I don't seem to have it. It's plastic, so a lot of times I'll think it's in there. Okay, so we're just going to set this aside for a little bit and have it at the ready for when we're going to be mixing our salad up in the bowl. But meantime, we're going to start working on our prepping our ingredients. Our orange, and we've got our cherry tomatoes as well as this pineapple thing. I'm going to check in. I'm going to have a sip of coffee here and see if anybody has any questions. Somebody says their ear is bleeding. Is that normal? I'm not sure if that's something that should be happening. You might want to take a look at that. Preheat the oven. Good call. I need to preheat the oven. Guys, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I'm not sure whether this particular dish requires an oven, but so many times when I'm cooking, I'll be like halfway through and all of a sudden it says, put it in the oven, and now I got to sit there and preheat the oven for 20 minutes. So I think a good policy, generally speaking, is to start off all of your sessions by preheating the oven, because you'd rather have the oven on accidentally than find yourself needing an oven and you have to wait 20 minutes. So thank you for that. That was Broken Arrow.
Okay.
Who asked that one? Hey, Dad Danny Dan just subscribed, and thank you Beelzebub for gifting subs, and Brian W. Forster and everybody. So, okay, let's see if there's other questions. Were the almonds cruelty free? I hope so. I think nowadays most things are done responsibly. Should I learn math before going into cooking? You can have a calculator handy. And I'm sure when my grandmother was growing up, they didn't have fancy equipment like that. I've got Alexa, which I can use to do any kind of math on the spot.
I don't know that.
Okay. Sometimes, I think we're done with our blender, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm going to get this thing out of the way. Okay, so let's get rid of this. And let's grab a cutting board. And let's do our oranges. So you want to cut the oranges up into 8 slices. I zoom in a little bit so you can see more what's going on. You don't have to worry about this. This is just for them to scan it, I guess. Should cut pretty easily. I try not to use sharp objects when I'm in the kitchen because I've cut myself so much, and I try not to get things too hot too because I've done a little burning of myself as well, and there's just not a lot of foods out there that are delicious enough to risk harming yourself or others for, except for some types of foods are. Let's see here. This is going pretty smooth. These smell delicious. I think 1 orange will probably be good for now. But citrus, as we said in the beginning, is one of the major parts of doing ambrosia salad. Have a sip of my coffee here.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Anne of Green Bagel. Green bagel sounds fun. Okay, so we sliced our orange. Now let's get into this pineapple situation. You know what? Hang on real quick. I'm gonna get a bowl. Maybe in the meantime you can see. We can check in on roast beef. Oh, good. He's moved on to a different activity. Oh, I guess he's back to being contemplative. Okay. Should have a bowl here. Oh, I don't know why some of this stuff just kind of disappeared. But here we go. So I'm going to put our oranges into this bowl. There we go. And let's grab our pineapple. So this thing is going to be weird to try to tackle. I think my plan of attack is going to be basically to just cut off a little bit off the back end here.
Okay.
Tank of Frank just subscribed. Thanks for subscribing. Let's just start cutting into it. Well, this is a tough one. You got to break through that skin. Okay. And I guess we're just going to slice. I don't know if you're supposed to use this back part here. I'm just going to start slicing it up. Could kind of break it apart too. It's starting to come off a little easier once you're on the inside of it. I haven't really worked with pineapple before, and you might be able to tell. But I welcome it. You know, anything that's a new challenge in the kitchen is okay with me. But I think that went pretty smoothly. Definitely has a pineapple vibe going on here. I'm going to try to get a little bit more. Get a little more meat out of this thing. All right. There's that. Okay, so we're going to put that then into our fruit bowl. And we're going to next put in some of our cherries. So these I don't think I need to cut. I'm just going to put them in there. They're about bite-sized anyway, so a few of our cherries. And the last thing we need to do is we have to cut our marshmallows. We actually have to dice these into quarters. So let's get started with that. Probably going to use, I don't know, a third of the bag. And I'm just going to guesstimate. And let's go ahead and just start cutting them up into quarters. You know, very interestingly, the name Ambrosia comes from an ancient Greek word meaning a food consumed by the gods to achieve immortality. But ironically, the ancient Greeks were lactose intolerant. And there's, you know, just some irony in the fact that this was supposed to be making them gods or whatever, but it actually made them have to go to the bathroom. Lactose intolerance means that your body doesn't have the enzyme that's necessary to break down and digest milk products. And that's not to be confused with a milk allergy, which is an overreaction of your immune system to milk products. But what makes it confusing is that both conditions lead to the same result, which is diarrhea. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about, where whether your body is working too efficiently or not efficiently enough, all roads lead to diarrhea. Or constipation in some cases. But if anybody out there is lactose intolerant, that's why we're using coconut milk today. And that's also why we're using some of these other ingredients that don't have any lactose in them. So these are cutting up quite nicely. Almost done here. Our next step is that we are going to put all of this stuff into a bowl, and we're going to pour our milk blend in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab another bowl, and we're going to set these aside. There's a lot of setting aside in cooking. Okay, so let's pour this into our bowl. It's our oven. This isn't really pouring very well, but that's okay. I'm actually wondering if I made enough of this stuff. I'm going to get all of it that we can. Ambrosia salad is a great thing to sort of, if you make too much, you can put it in Tupperware and hand it out to your neighbors. That's something that I used to do. Lately, I haven't really been very social with my neighbors because of a little incident that happened. But okay, so the next thing we're going to do, so now that we have our milk and coconut, shredded coconut mixture here, we're going to start folding in our ingredients from our fruit bowl. And I'm going to grab a spatula here. You just want a rubber spatula. I've got this one here, which is actually a Halloween one. It says "Witch Please" on it. But we're going to literally be folding our ingredients up into our ambrosia mixture so that it mixes very evenly. And we just want to stir it up. Maybe this is a good time if you guys have any questions. We can take a look at that. If I'm cooking something early in the morning, should I preheat the oven overnight? It's pointless. Ask that. Probably not a bad idea. It might get warm in your house overnight, but you know what? If you're living in a cold climate, or if it's the winter time, you might actually like to have your oven on overnight, because that way could provide some extra warmth for you during the evening. So I'm not against that idea. How old is roast beef? OmniArch asks. Roast beef is very old. I believe he's 17. He's a good creature, and I'm going to be very sad when he moves on to that next level. As a matter of fact, let's check in on what's going on. I hope he's not too depressed. Yeah, seems to be still sort of lost in thought there. Very sad, but you know, it happens to all of us. Time is inexorable, and we're all just sort of marching toward the end of a cliff, basically. And the best that we can hope for is that we are dead before we fall off the cliff, I guess. Somebody said here, Sarah Day says, personally recommend just keeping the oven on at 400 degrees at all times. That way you're ready and you don't need to preheat. That's a good idea too. Just have your oven always on. Okay, we're going to scroll down and look. One of my fondest memories from high school, Blurry Little Quest asks. Well, probably my fondest memory was when I had a crush on this girl, Nancy, and I remember I got my hair cut, and I was a little self-conscious about it, so I put on a hat, and I showed up with a hat, and I guess the kids weren't buying it. And this one kid, Shane, who was he was sort of a bully, while I was talking to Nancy, he took my hat off, and everybody started laughing at my haircut. And I ran away and was crying and all that stuff. This is probably 8th grade. And no, it was high school, so it would have been like 9th or 10th grade. And my mom made me an ice cream sundae. And that was about the most delicious ice cream sundae that I've ever had. And that's probably my fondest memory, going back that far. I might have messed up some of the details, but as you get older, sometimes these things are a little harder to remember. Let's see. Some other questions here. Did Shane have cats? Probably not. How dare you, Nancy? Yeah, she was laughing at me. How do I juggle doing my own cooking show and raising a cat? Yeah, it's tough, you know, but in this modern world, you can actually have it all. You can pull it off. That was a great question. Boy, these are going. Oh yeah, that's from Jade Cup Made Hands. We also have. I don't have oranges. Can I use carrots? Yeah, they're both orange, so you're probably good there. And do I have any new merch? They would love an apron. Aprons I usually do over the holidays, but you can always join the Patreon if you're interested in getting an apron.
Okay.
Shane, yes, just subscribed, and I want to make sure everybody knows that's not the Shane, that's the bully, or maybe he is. I don't know. It's been a very long time. But thank you, Shane. Yes. Okay. This looks pretty good, and it smells good. So let's go ahead and.
Okay.
Layden just subscribed. Thanks, Layden. Let's chill for about 20 minutes. So we're going to chill. Eps-Ray just subscribed. Thanks, Eps-Ray. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. And,
okay.
Thanks, Rock Hammerson 1. I'm running out of room in my refrigerator here. Should be able to pull it off. There we go. Wash the hands a little bit. And maybe this would be a good time to do a little bit of music. Just want to check on this. Thanks. How many characters can Puth? Let's see. I'm going to turn off the oven in this case because it looks like. Thanks, Woo. Yeah. Looks like we're not going to be needing the oven, which is good news because it's actually very hot in this kitchen. But Alexa, set the timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
And I notice a lot of people do jump in on the lessons late. Dio Rio just subscribed. Thanks, Dio Rio. If you've come in late, just to sort of summarize what we've done, verse new ever 7. Thank you. We started by cutting up our fruits, our vegetables. Well, not really vegetables. Pineapple. We started out by blending our milk and our coconut milk and shredded coconut, and then separately sliced up and diced our pineapple, marshmallows, etc. And now we've mixed them all into a bowl and folded it over with a spatula and put it in the refrigerator to chill for 20 minutes. And while we're chilling, maybe not such a bad idea would be to do a little bit of music. I'm going to give you a little song by an artist named Jose Suicidio, who's written a lot of songs. Thanks, Phases. About pain and suffering and difficulty and human interactions, awkwardness. And I think that's where the best music comes from. And this is a little song about a date, and it's called Uber. She says she wants to Uber home now, 'cause you're just not her type of guy. But she still wants to be your friend. And if she meets her Mr. Right, maybe you could help them move their stuff when she moves in with him. But for now, she just wants you to get an Uber for her to go home. Says it's not that she thinks you're ugly, but you're just not her cup of tea. She's got better things to do than to hang around with you. She's got other ways she'd rather spend her time. And that's why she just wants an Uber home. You gotta get her an Uber home now, 'cause she doesn't wanna be here. You're the one who asked her out and offered her to spend more time, but it didn't go the way you wanted to. So the right thing to do is to get her an Uber home. Uber home. Yeah, that's sort of a painful one there. So Gerda says, I've got them crying in the club right now. Yeah, that's a tearjerker, there's no doubt about it. Fruit Salad by the Wiggles. I'm not familiar with that song, but that would have been a good one to learn for this dish. Everyone Type I says, have I ever met Jose Suicidio? You know, in a weird way, I guess you could say I have. Can I eat this with my dog? Or is it only for cats? I used to have a dog named Archie, who was a wonderful dog, and his teeth were very messed up. It was a rescue, so I thought it was cute, but eventually I found out that he had taken a real bad fall and messed up his teeth. So we took him to the dentist, and he got him all cleaned up, and his last few years on this planet were very nice, and we did a lot of good eating together. And but then I met roast beef, and roast beef is a great eating companion as well. In fact, let's check in. I think I put a little bit of yogurt on his tummy there, so he's kind of going back and forth between being depressed about the futility of life and then licking yogurt off of his stomach. So, hey, Rand Bauer, just subscribe. Thanks for that. Let's see if anybody has any requests for a song. Cooking. Thanks. OmniArch says we should be cooking a special meal for roast beef. That's a good idea, actually. There are some cat treats that you can find online, some recipes, so maybe we could do that. I'm just a little worried because if you feed it to your cat and I screwed up something in the directions and something happens to your cat, I don't think I could live with that. Creep by Radiohead. I think I could try that. I think it's basically just 4 chords. I'm a creep, I'm a loser, I ruin everything I touch. I don't feel good about myself, I'm kinda weird, a little uncomfortable. What the hell am I even here for? I'm not a good person. That's not even the right chord. But I'm a creep. That was a good one. It's a nice little pick-me-up. I don't know that song Ocean Man by Ween. I like Ween a lot. Let's see here. Mystery Girl. Oh, that's a song that I wrote a long time ago. She's a mystery girl. No one knows what she does. She's a mystery girl. No one knows what she's all about. She's always getting phone calls right in the middle of our date. She has to go somewhere right away. She's a mystery girl. She's a mystery girl. She always pays her tab in singles. She's a mystery girl. And Anyway, it's hard for me to remember the lyrics on that, but I can do a little bit of that. Well, I think our meal is probably pretty close to being completely chilled at this point. Bumblevision says, "Can we play the theme song for The Simpsons?" But that's the only part I know, which sounded more like Maria from West Side Story. Some black metal. Yeah, I could do some really hardcore thrashing, rockin', thrash metal for you. I don't know if you know this song by the Scorpions. Okay, that's enough thrash metal here. Our dish is just about done here. Thank you, an anonymous viewer. To Cuck Lives Matter. Okay, I don't really know how a lot of this stuff works. Somebody has gifted a sub of some sort, and that's very nice. I am now going to have one more sip of coffee, and before we pull out our dish, I'm going to take a look at some of the people that have been helping me throughout. It's been almost 2 months of doing live Henry's Kitchen streams, and a lot of people from the community came out and helped, and even more offered to help, and I think gratitude is a very important thing in life. So I'd like to give a couple of shout outs here. Well, I want to start by giving a shout out to Moon, because I don't know Moon, but a lot of people say that Moon's been spreading the word, and I appreciate that. And thanks Brian Foster again to Google These Nuts. But I want to thank these wonderful moderators: Fawcan, Dingo Bop, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dogoggy, Dr. Flanges, and some others who are standing by are Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon 95, and Pilskman. Pilskman was one of the first ones who came forward and offered help, and when I had no idea what the heck I was doing, so I really appreciate that. And Bumblevision for giving me a lot of technical support, and the LGX. My buddy Bill Larkin Music, who is just an amazing performer. If you ever get a chance, you should check out his channel, because he improvised music in real time. And thanks for all the gifting, Brian W. Foster. And no stream would be complete without me thanking Nim, because Nim not only got me started with the whole Twitch platform, but also has been very helpful ever since. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I have there's a Twitch convention coming up in October, and I'm pretty sure Nim's going to be there, and my friend Bill Larkin are going to be there. Thanks, Alexa, call mommy. And I'm going to go. I mean, I might as well. I'm only a few hours from there, so I don't know if you guys go to these conventions, but I'll definitely be there. I won't have an official booth or whatever, but I'll be standing around in the public areas. Maybe they have a lobby and I can just sort of stand there by myself, and which is usually what I do when I go to parties and stuff. And I also want to thank Forsen. Forsen's done a lot of videos of reacting and showing videos to his fan base, so I appreciate that. Thanks. Ashley the Jenkins has gifted 10 subs. So it's that time. Let's take a look at what we have here. And again, there's not really a lot of room for error, but let's get a better view here so you can see this. Yeah. So you can see all of the ingredients in there. I don't know if you can see that the oranges are in there, so it's very orangey. It's also got the tomatoes. Well, it's supposed to be cherries, but we use cherry tomatoes, which I think is a similar effect. And there should be some honey roasted almonds as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab a fork here and start let you know how this tastes. And if you guys are making it at home, I'd like to hear from you about how yours tastes as well. Here we go. I'm going to start by taking a piece of tomato. Okay. That was basically just a tomato. So let me see if I can get a bite that's got a little bit more orange. Yeah, it's basically an orange there. It probably would have been better for me to chop up some of these ingredients a little more. It's got the pits in it. Let me see if I can get some of that pineapple. This looks like this bite has a big chunk of pineapple in it, so okay, so as you can see, Ambrosia salad is really just slicing up some fruits and putting them in a bowl and making them cold. There was some activity there with the blender, but I think that all that did was sort of coat everything with a slight coconut taste. But if you're ever in a hurry, I'd also say you should probably cut out some of the shell part of the pineapple before you put this in there, because it's not really going down. But this is completely lactose intolerant, so you don't have to worry about having diarrhea or constipation or any kind of digestive issues when you have this dish. See if there's some more questions here. Let's see here. I'm trying to get better at this whole situation, but it really goes very fast. Someone asked if it's vegan free. I believe so. The marshmallows that I got are vegan free. Oh shit, they're falling off. But oh, you know what, guys? This is a little embarrassing. I never put the marshmallows in there. And I'm not sure at what point these were supposed to go in there, but I'm just going to go ahead and put them in there now. This is kind of what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you're in the kitchen, there's improvisation that happens, and I don't know. That was a real screw up, and I gotta say, I'll take full ownership of that one. That's nobody's fault other than my own. I just literally forgot to put the damn mushrooms in there. So that's probably why everything was tasting a little bit like just the regular ingredients by themselves instead of, I think the marshmallows really kind of make it. So yeah, let's try to grab a bite here that's got some marshmallow in it. This has quite a chunk of marshmallow, and I'm going to get a tomato as well. Well, no, I'll get some orange in there. So yeah, this is a bite that's got a little bit more of a diversity of ingredients here. Make sure you to get those pits out. That was another thing. Yeah. Yeah, the mushrooms really make it more of an actual concoction as opposed to just eating sliced fruits. Mrs. Porcupine asks, have I considered making some recipes from a medieval cookbook? Medieval cookbook? That's a great idea. It'd be interesting to see what people were eating during those times. I think we learned last time that potatoes have been eaten. People have been eating potatoes for about 500 years now, and apparently there's only about 4,500 of them left, and that's sort of a problem. Zin fraction. Wow, Henry, it's always amazing to see how well you cook. Thank you. And I take all my inspiration. That makes me feel good. I'm glad to hear that. And I also want to say that a lot of times people see me cook and they're like, intimidated because I'm doing everything well. Remember, I've been cooking for about 7 years, and prior to that, I was teaching cooking. So it's not, you're not going to be an expert right off the bat. It takes a very long time. And as you've seen, I've even kind of made some mistakes here today. So anyway, I hope that your dish came out good, and I hope you have a good Sunday, or if it's late where you are. And I'm curious if anybody from Australia is ever on here. A friend of mine from Australia said that he can't watch because it's 4 a.m. there, which is too bad. But maybe I'm thinking about maybe adding a stream in the middle of the week that goes on late at night, because I'd like to include more people. But hey, that's our timer. Alexa, stop timer. I also didn't chill it enough, so I thought it had been 20 minutes. But if you're waking up in the middle of the night to get on this stream and start making ambrosia salad, I want to say that you're a hero to me. And then making the salad and then going back to bed, that's really wonderful. But I'm going to try to make the times a little bit more convenient. And then they're going to stay on afterwards. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great Sunday, or had a great Sunday, as the case may be. And let's all just, try to get through today and the following days, and maybe be a little bit like roast beef. And think about our own demise, but let's not try to dwell on it so much. It is happening, it's inevitable, but today let's just enjoy some ambrosia salad on a nice Sunday afternoon. Thanks so much, everyone, and thanks for all the people that have subscribed and bits and gifted and all those wonderful things, and followed and chatted, and thank you very much. Somebody asked for mushrooms. Beelzebub asked if we should put mushrooms in there. That's not a bad idea. In fact, you might be able to replace some of the coconut stuff with mushrooms. Here we go. Greased 315. Any advice for cooking for a toddler? I've cooked my son all of your recipes, and he doesn't seem to like anything. Yeah, I mean, kids can be very picky when it comes to food, so I would start, I have my chutney cheese weenie bites with this chutney sauce, which is sweet, so kids like that, and it's also got, hot dogs. What kid doesn't like hot dogs? You could try that dish, or there's also my cheesecake for one. Let's see, so thank you very much, Greased 315, also Captain Huge Ass. Have I thought about cooking with natural human fluids? Well, I don't know about that. I'd certainly say that coconut milk is definitely a natural fluid. Doomer, creatine, thoughts on making a meal for a totally real wife and a totally real kid. Well, if you could come up with something, hey, everybody likes pizza. You could try my vegan-free, or no, it was gluten-free vegan-free gluten pizza that I made, which means it has gluten in it, and it's also not vegan. So Atreon's teaching before I started cooking, very talented. Yeah, I've been teaching cooking for 11 years, and I've only been cooking for about 7 years. Anyway, I hope yours turned out as good as this one did, or even better, hopefully. Go have a picnic, you know. This is a great dish to put in some bowls and hand out to the neighbors, or just strangers if you don't have neighbors. Or to just sit there on a Sunday afternoon and watch the game, whatever game happens to be playing, with your cat or your dog, or just all by your lonesome. But as always, thanks to everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for joining us here, and I'll see you Wednesday at 11 a.m. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.